Welcome Motivation Sunday. Welcome Motivation Sunday.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. You know, we talked about the more than 300 motivational quotes that I had created for my personal use, for my motivational speaking, the contents of my books, and now I'm using it for my music. And how this all came about, I got together with a group of my closest friends, people that I respect, people that I'm impressed by, people that I admire. And matter of fact, I brought them in, and they're all my co-hosts. I got PJ Schropp, co-host, Larnez Kenzie, co-host. She's also my bodyguard, so beware, people, when you see me in public. She shows up, move aside. And then we got the voice of the show, Mr. Travis Zaire. All right, he's a voice. Look at that. Man's got the perfect beard and everything else. But anyway, each week we meet at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every single week, one of our co-hosts, including myself, we bring a quote based on how it attaches to us on our interpretation or perspective. We talk, and you'll be surprised on how many different variations or interpretations one quote may have on different people. And so we created a whole show around this. Again, we meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today's quote is one of mine. You know, we're going to start off, and we're going to let the voice of our show give us the quote today. Travis, you want to introduce yourself and the quote to our people?
Thank you, Kevin. It was always good to be here and just talk shop with you guys. But this quote today is really meaningful, really powerful, especially when you're going through your seasons. But the quote is, "When I'm happy, I feel the beat. When I'm in pain, I hear the words." By our one and only Kevin McLemore.
Yeah, this quote, it's personal. It comes from a place, in the same place where my writing comes from, in my head, in my heart, and where the music comes from. And still, when I think about this, when I'm happy, I feel the beat. When I'm in pain, I hear the words. And the more and more that I sit with this, the more and more I realize that this conversation I'm having, I'm sharing with everyone, is bigger than the music. This is about emotional intelligence. This is about how we hear life differently, depending on how life or what life is doing with us. When everything is going well, sometimes we just feel the beat. That's in my head. We move, we celebrate, we laugh, and we will get caught up in the energy of the movement. And then there's really nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that. Happiness deserves its own soundtrack. But the pain, oh man, it makes you sit back and just listen. And you listen differently. When your heart is broken, suddenly you hear the lyrics. When somebody is gone, you hear the meaning behind every memory. And when a dream falls apart, you hear the questions that you were too busy to ask yourself every time something you were working on went wrong. That's why when I wrote this quote, I looked at both sides of the coin. When I sing, I tell you about love, the celebrations, the romance, the hope, the mistakes, heartbreak, and then getting back up. And then sometimes you don't have the melody big enough in order to hide behind the words. Sometimes all I have is just the words. And because sometimes I can't hide, and I can't always hide behind the pain. So I stand in it. But standing in the pain does not mean the same thing of surrendering to it. That is that uncomfortable conversation you have within inside yourself. What do I do when I'm hurting? Do I let the pain become part of my identity? Or do I turn the experience into wisdom? Or do I hide behind the beat? You know, how you dance and like no one's watching? Or do you have enough courage to listen to the words? And once I understand my own experience, I can then use that experience to help someone else with theirs. What are the shapes and the things in life that have taught us? And what are the things in life that taught? Life is all about learned behaviors, and change begins when you become conscious enough to take responsibility of those behaviors. Emotional intelligence does not mean not everyone gets angry, not everyone gets hurt, or not everyone has to be positive. It means recognizing that emotion and understanding the message and deciding that you deserve to take the next step. My grandfather said, and I repeat this over and over again, education was not designed to make you comfortable, it's designed to make you think. So today, I don't want to distract the beat, but what I do want you to do is listen to the words and let us all think, because there is nothing stronger than the beat of living life on your own terms. And no matter what the story, no matter what the words, when you finally learn how to dance, then you just relax and you groove to the beat. So this is part of the reason why I brought that quote. So I'm just curious, after I open this door, I'm holding a door open for Miss PJ Stroud to see how this quote lands on her. PJ, how's this quote land on you?
Oh, yikes, you made me go first.
No, I actually went first.
Okay. Number two, we try harder. Okay. This quote mystified me at first, because it pretty much said it all. I said, what else can I add? It never ceases to amaze me how the same song can meet us differently, depending on what we are carrying. When we are excuse me, when we are joyful, we feel the music physically, the rhythm, the energy, the urge to move. But when we are hurting, we listen with our hearts. And suddenly the lyrics seem personal. Words we may have heard 100 times finally reveal themselves, because pain has given us the language to understand them. Our emotional state alters. It alters not only what we hear, but what we are finally ready to receive. Perhaps the deeper message is this: joy makes us feel life. Pain helps us understand it. The end.
And that's what, when you look at our everyday lives, I'm not saying all of us, but many of us, we always are telling ourselves the biggest lies. How are you doing? I'm doing just great. How's life treating you? Hey, it's better today than it was yesterday. Are you good? Yeah, we say that. We always, even when we're not good, we don't say anything. But sometimes the hardest thing in life is the falsehoods that challenges us internal. I'm not enough. All right, I'll never love again. I'm too old. I can't change. This is all that life has given me. How does that test my beliefs and my reality? Well, then again, listen to the music. So, Lonez, when we talk about emotional intelligence and how this quote ties into, controlling our emotions or understanding our emotions or expressing our intelligence, when we look at this quote, how does this quote land on you?
Grand Rising, everyone. Grateful to be here. But can Travis give me the quote one more time?
All right, the voice, you've been summoned.
Absolutely. So again, it's when I'm happy, I feel the beat, and when I am in pain, I hear the words. By Kevin
Thank you.
Mackin. Yeah.
Thank you. When life is good, we're vibing. We hear the bass, we catch the rhythm, we're dancing. Nobody is stopping to the song to analyze the lyrics, right? But pain makes you listen differently. Pain will have you hearing a song you've known for 20 years, like the artist just read your diary and said, we need to go to the studio. Suddenly you're like, wait, what? what are they saying? Same song, different you, because experiences change the way we listen. And honestly, I think people are like a lot like music. Every time we walk outside and encounter another human being, it's almost like we're musicians meeting up for a quick jam session. I bring the rhythm, you bring yours. I bring everything I've experienced, everything I've healed through, everything I've survived, everything I'm becoming, and you bring yours. Sometimes we immediately find a groove. Conversation flows, energy feels easy. Nobody has to shrink, nobody has to perform, nobody has to convince anybody of anything. We just harmonize. And then there are those encounters where somebody is completely off key with us, and this is where we get ourselves in trouble, right? Instead of simply recognizing we don't make good music together, we start trying to tune people. We over explain, we give another chance, then another and another. We lower our volume, we change the tempo, we ignore our own rhythm. Sometimes we become so committed to creating harmony with another person, we create dissonance within ourselves. And that is something worth sitting with, because everybody is not supposed to be in your band. Some people are one song, some people are one verse, some people are a beautiful collaboration that lasts for years. Some are literally just the opening act. And some people are simply playing in a completely different key. That doesn't make them bad, that doesn't make you better. It simply means we do not make beautiful music together. And maturity is being able to recognize that without turning every incompatibility into a conflict. Sometimes nobody has to be the villain. Sometimes the harmony just isn't there. And your body usually knows before your mind is willing to admit it. You leave the interaction exhausted. You're replaying everything you said. You're questioning yourself. You're noticing you're constantly editing yourself around them. You're changing your natural rhythm just to keep the relationship playing. That's information. And healing teaches us to listen to it, because when we're happy, we feel the beat. When we're hurting, we hear the words. But when we're healing, we begin to hear the whole entire composition, the lyrics, the rhythm, the pauses, the silence, the people who complement our sound, and the people who challenge us to become better musicians, and the people we need to stop forcing into the song. Because somewhere along the way, we have to remember you are the virtuoso of your own life. You are your instrument. You know your rhythm. You know when if somebody feels off key. And the more you know yourself, the less willing you become to hand somebody else the conductor baton and ask them how your music should sound. Your responsibility isn't to force everybody to meet to harmonize with you, right? Your responsibility is to remain in tune with yourself, to know when to collaborate, to know when to improvise, to know when to listen, and to know when it's time to stop playing, because you're not the background music to anybody else's composition. You are the virtuoso. So trust your ear, protect your rhythm, and have the courage to play your own damn song. And I am complete.
I love the way she said that. Have the courage to play your own damn song. All right, you're not complete. You are the, I ain't going to say it on Sunday morning. But what I will say is that to our listeners, to our guests, and for our first time guests, can your creativity turn your pain into service? And the reason why I ask this question is because every single day for the last couple of years that I've known this young man, Naheem Garcia, every single day he has turned into the page of someone else's story, someone else's pain, someone else's life, and someone else's glory into a performance that sometimes heals us, sometimes makes us question ourselves. And sometimes it fills in the blank when we're looking for answers. I'm talking about when writers create stories, when writers create lyrics for musicians to play, when artists paint a picture and have you stand back. And when a teacher starts to say, don't ask the question, create the answer for yourself. Let yourself be free. And when coaches allow you to go out and do your thing, then every day people get transformed through experience of someone else that becomes original to themselves. So when does sharing our stories become healing or a connection to our purpose? Well, I'm going to tell you, there's one brother that knows that answer. There's one brother that feels that pain. And there's one brother that shows up every single day as an original story, connecting us to the beat and connecting us to the pain. Mr. Naheem Garcia, how does this quote land on you?
May I hear the quote one more time? I thought you was talking about somebody else the way you was introducing me. I was like, wow, who's coming on?
I'm auditioning for the job, so when you need someone to introduce you, I was hoping I was going to pick it up. You didn't even catch the
You
hint.
got the job, brother. You got the job. Let me hear that quote one more time, please.
All right,
Absolutely.
boys.
When I am happy, I feel the beat. When I'm in pain, I hear the words, by Kevin McLemore.
Hey,
When
and
I'm
ladies
happy,
and
I feel the beat. Mhm.
yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, right, Naheem is trying to get this quote together. I just want you guys to look at it. When you talk about the original street dancers that were dancing to the beat and whatever, I'm going to tell you, this young brother was spinning on a piece of cardboard doing this thing. He's one of the originators to our history and music, Mr. Naheem Garcia.
Thank you. This is an interesting one, Kevin. When did you come up with this one? This is a good one.
I wrote this years ago, and it keeps getting redefined every single time I bump my head against something, every single time I put a piece of a pen to paper, and every single time that I try to sing a key higher than I can actually sing, in every verse I've ever wrote. And matter of fact, since I'm working on this story, it's the beginning of the story I'm writing called Pages. The reason why I write the song. It's going to be starring Naheem Garcia.
Yes, good. That's fantastic. Looking forward to it. Okay, this quote. I'm gonna pick up off of what Larnez was saying, that some people don't have the same note, but more than that, some people can't sing. Some people just can't sing, and they don't need to be in your choir. They can't keep up with your beat. They have no rhythm to dance with you. That's a sign that they have no place in your life. And if they do have a place in your life, it ain't in your choir. So, yeah, now you got me talking about this business here. I find myself trying to blend in with different beats and different rhythms. I like mixing, sort of a social DJ kind of thing. And in some cases, it doesn't always work out that way. You're figuring out why this song ain't hitting. Why is this not hitting? Why is this not coming home? What's going on? It's because you got beats that don't belong to you. You got voices that shouldn't be singing in your background. Everybody plays a role, but some people's roles is not in your life. And we also got to learn and understand how that works. It's not easy because we always want to fix things. We, by nature, always want to fix things and make things blend. But some things just can't blend, and it's okay. It's okay to know that I can't sing in your backup today. I can't back up your band today. You got to have moments where you got to know where you can't get into the rhythm, and then there's moments where you got to get into the rhythm quick, like now. You jump on and it's like, okay, what's the beat? Yeah, okay, here we go, right? But not everybody can do that. Not everything in life can work out for you that way. And so it's a double-edged sword. Know your place, know when you got to come in, know when you can't, and know your key. Know your key. Know what your frequency is. Know what note you can hit. If you don't know that, don't try to get in nobody's band. It don't work. So I hope that kind of gives you a picture on what I think about that quote.
It definitely gives us a fixture, and every conversation and every share that we've had is a metaphor for the conversation we need to be having within ourselves. And sometimes, when you talk about what's taught and what's caught, it's like, what's the common denominator between those two phrases? Is that you control the change. If you accept it, you live in that space, you stay in that lane. If you disagree with it, emotional intelligence is basically, if you don't disagree with it, change it. When you turn 16 years of age, it's the first time you become legally responsible when you get your driver's license. And so if you don't agree with the flow of traffic, pick another lane. All right. That's when the words that you finally dance with, that's when you feel the beat. That's where the change comes through. That's what whole life looks like. One can celebrate joy, you can acknowledge sorrow, or you can learn from both and still choose purpose. As each of my co-hosts, and the way that they've explained the lyrics, the way they talked about the seasons, the way they talked about the reasons, it's what you do and what you decide right now. What frequency are you on?
Mm.
Are you the type of person that you can't hold on to a good relationship because you find in fault because you keep carrying stuff from the past into present? You're the type of person that when you decide that everything's right, you ball up the piece of paper, you throw it away, and you start to do a rewrite. You keep editing yourself instead of allowing yourself to exist and be accepted for who you are. Quit hiding behind the mask.
Mm.
All right. The beat allows you to dance like no one else cares, but the music tells the story of what's really in your heart. So with that said, we come to that point in the show. All right. Well, we're going to hear the quote one more time. And based on interpretation and perspectives, we're going to see how the voice interprets this quote. If you don't mind, Mr. Travis, for our listeners and for our co-hosts, deliver the quote and give us your interpretation on this quote.
Absolutely. So again, it's when I'm happy, I feel the beat, and when I'm in pain, I hear the words.
Mm.
And to me, this quote is really about attention and perception, perspective, even. When things are going well, sometimes we're just moving with life. We're enjoying the moment, celebrating the wins, spending time with the family, traveling, laughing, just, enjoying the beat, if you want to say that, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Life is supposed to have a beat, but the pain has a funny way of making us pay attention. Think about it as simple as getting a shot, right? If you sit there staring at the needle going into your arm, you're probably going to feel every little bit of it. But if you turn your head, you start talking to someone, or you focus your mind somewhere else, suddenly it doesn't feel quite the same. The pain may not have changed, your attention did. I think music works the same way. You can hear a song and feel the vibe, maybe even 50 or 100 times, right? Driving, cleaning the house, making the coffee, and you're just enjoying it. Then one day, you're going through something. That same song comes on, and one line catches you. And you stop like, has this always been there? I've never heard that part before, right? The song didn't change. They didn't just update a new master. You did. And because of what you're experiencing, you're listening to that song completely different. I think life does that to us as well. Sometimes advice that's meant nothing to you for years suddenly makes perfect sense. A quote that you've heard 100 times suddenly hits you different. Even something your parents used to tell you, right? Completely ignored. One day you catch yourself saying it and realize, man, they might have actually had something to say, or they might have actually known what they're talking about. And this is why I believe we should not waste the pain. I'm not saying we should look for pain or celebrate difficult seasons, but if I'm already going through something, I want to ask myself, what is this trying to teach me? What am I hearing now that I could not hear before? Because sometimes pain makes us slow down long enough to hear the words. And I also think we have to appreciate both parts of the song. Life needs the beat. We need the joy, the celebration, the family, the travel, the wins, the moments where you're not analyzing everything. Right? You're simply just enjoying the benefits of being alive. But sometimes the words carry wisdom. So for me, this quote is a reminder to appreciate the beat when life is good. And when life gets difficult, lean in. Listen closely to the words. because the song may not have changed. Maybe life is just giving you a reason to finally hear it differently. And that's it for me.
All right. All right. To our listeners, I hope that you enjoyed conversations on emotional intelligence surrounding this quote. What's the quote again, Travis?
Absolutely. When I'm happy, I feel the beat. When I'm in pain, I hear the words. By Kevin McLemore.
All right, so I get a chance to come up behind all the great superstars, and I want to share a little story. You know how like when you're going through something, you get in the car, you turn on the radio, and that song hits you, and you go, "I needed that." I wrote a song and I shared it with PJ. I haven't sent it over to Naheem yet and haven't released it yet. It talks about there's a price to pay for fame and glory. 24 hours after I wrote that, Shaquille O'Neal had an interview sitting down with his youngest son. His son was talking about going to the NBA. And Shaq turned around in his raspy, deep voice and says, "Are you really ready for that?" He says, "Do you remember how many times I wasn't there for Christmas, for birthdays, for school events, and so forth?" He says, "Are you really ready for that?" He says, "Do you remember all the nights I said I was coming home and didn't show up and whatever?" He says, "Are you ready for that?" You know, you've got to think about it. You know, we all toss around this conversation about entrepreneurs, independent thinking, creatives, and so forth. There is always a price to be paid. When you talk about emotional and intelligence, you talk about the ability to recognize what we are feeling and understanding those emotions and what those emotions are telling us. We choose how we respond. We choose when life is good, and often we experience the physical, and immediately we feel the pain. Sometimes we smile, sometimes we move, we celebrate the dance, we laugh out loud when we're feeling the rhythm, and the beat carries us to the next step. But where the magic and where the music really lies is within the pain. And that's when we listen. When we are hurting, the words that once passed us all of a sudden become personal. A lyric, a conversation, an apology, a memory, or even the silence that we carry completely is different from the meaning of what we were dancing to 24 hours ago. Pain can slow us down long enough for us to hear what is happening. And sometimes it allows us to kind of overlook what we don't really want to see. The deeper the message is not that happiness is shallow or pain is superior. We both need both. We need both. Joy reminds us what's worth celebrating. Pain reveals what needs attention. Emotional maturity is learning how we hear both sides of the music without allowing either one to completely control our lives. So here, what I want everyone to listen to today, and what I want you to take with you, don't be ashamed to dance to the beat, and don't be afraid to listen to the words. Celebrate when life gives you something worth celebrating. Dance, laugh, and love, and be present for the beat. But when life is hurting, slow down and listen, because the pain deserves your undivided attention. Because in many ways, we know you're trying. And sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need to create boundaries. Sometimes you need to separate yourself from relationships that cause you hurt, that you're optimistic that things are going to get better. And they ain't getting better. Your choices, your purpose. And sometimes the lesson is not just us. It's not what is happening to me. The stronger question is, what am I doing to make this happen? Your heartbreak can become your wisdom. Your mistakes can become your instructor. Your disappointments can become a distraction. Your story becomes somebody else's evidence. And that life on the other side is going to be better because you're standing in the way of your own purpose and making a better way for everyone else. So you don't have to erase the bad times to appreciate the good ones. You don't have to deny pain to be strong. Strength is being able to stand within your truth and about what you're about, while refusing to believe that where you are, you have to remain. So I'm going to tell you, all right, I want you to feel the beat. I want you to hear the words. I want you to learn the lesson. And what I really want you to do is do what my co-hosts have all told you. Write the next verse. So to our followers, subscribers, listeners, to everyone that's sharing this conversation with us today, don't wait till the music stops to appreciate the people dancing beside you. Tell the people that you love them, why they can still hear you. Celebrate the good while it's happening. And when the pain arrives, give yourself permission to hear your heart and what it's trying to say to you. Your life is just not one note. Your life is just not one lyric. It is not one mistake, one heartbreak, or one victory, or even one season. It's a composition of everything that's ever been written. And if your words can help someone else make it through the next verse, then maybe your experience is not wasted. So I want to thank everyone for joining us this weekend on Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. If you like what you've heard, you can continue this conversation and find us on our YouTube page at RNK Productions and Network. If you want to go ahead and throw in your quote, and we'll use it, go to our email us at rnkproductions@org. So my grandfather always said, when you get to a point or a place in life where you can help someone else out, he said it's your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, we what?
Fade to black.
And make sure you come back.
And until next week with a new quote, stay positive, and we're out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome Motivation Sunday with Kevin and friends.